I have been sending a lot of different applications, and I'm in this journey where I'm trying to figure out what next thing I need to do in my career. And I can honestly say, never has it been so challenging to feel so unaware of what the next step is. There's nothing like doing a job hunt during the apocalypse and getting back so many of the we regrets, but no reasoning, no understanding of the why. And so I was talking to my sister earlier on today, and I was thinking about this whole concept of, what we're expected to do in times when it looks like nothing is happening. And for me, it's the concept of giving up, and not giving up in the sense of giving in and saying, I'm done with it and I'm just going to give up on my dreams. But it's actually giving up, which is passing the problem over to someone else, right? And many of us do this, whether it's with therapists, with friends and family members. And for someone like me, because of my relationship with God, it's about giving it up to Him. I've always had an understanding that when I feel my most exhausted and burnt out and wiped out, it's because I am trying to do things in my own strength. And that's not what I was called to do. Even for people who do not have a religion, there's an understanding of darkness and light. And when we feel like giving up, it's always the closest we feel to the darkness and the most the darkness has power over people. This is where people get overwhelmed with depression and anxiety and all these other feelings that are a manifestation of fear. And so I just wanted to encourage people who are in a similar season or going through something similar and say that, the darkness and the wilderness are never things that return to you empty. I have a good friend of mine who always used to remind me that I said to her many years ago that your pain is never wasted. And so for me, I feel this uncertain, uncomfortable middle path that we're in right now because of COVID, that this time is not wasted. I have seen people start businesses. I have seen people become inventive and creative. I have seen people triple their income in a time that is supposed to be a time of lack, a time when we say the economy is effectively dead. And so I think there's something in just manifesting what we want to do, even in this time of lack. And I know it's a hard time for a lot of people. It's extremely hard to be productive in a time like this where you're stuck in the house and your creative juices are feeling a bit blocked. But I just wanted to encourage whoever is watching this, whoever is in that space, that, even in this uncomfortable, icky time, there is magic that is happening. There is providence for you. There is a solution that's waiting to come. And also to say, I have seen the testimonies in my own friends' lives that there is a direct correlation between the promise of lack in your work life or even in your family life because of COVID, and still the hope of other things that are emerging, right? Because it's never empty. I serve a God who gives and takes away. So there's an understanding that we're not always in a season of abundance, but there's a promise that there's always abundance, even in seasons of lack. And so I've just really been pursuing that concept of where is the abundance, where are the things that I have. And it's when you take a step back and you think, oh, I actually have this other talent and skill. I can earn an income doing other things I love, even instead of waiting for a job. And sometimes it's an opportunity to pivot and realize that, oh, maybe it's not that sector that I thought I wanted to be in. And maybe the way I envisioned the dream is something different. So I'm inviting you to speak to that better part of yourself, that light part of yourself, that where all your hope, happiness, and joy sits, and say, what is it that I need now in this season? What is abundance looking like in this season? Let go of that expectation of what you thought it was in 2019, because in 2019 you didn't know COVID was coming, so I think there's been such a release for me for that. And I am a person who likes to definitely remove my burdens, and I do pursue comfort like any normal human being, but there is an awareness that comes and says, is is the version of me that is pursuing comfort standing in the way of the version of me that can really get character and actually be plugged into purpose? Because my prayer at the beginning of the year was that I don't want to have just a job, you know. And one of the other things that really encouraged me is I have a box of cards that I'm going to be talking about later on this channel. a box of cards that has a lot of quotes that energize me and animate me, and also give me ideas when I'm feeling stuck and I'm feeling like there is no inspiration. And the one card said, "Don't take a job, make a job." And I think that's a word for someone. There's someone seeking something. So, if you're watching this and you're having some kind of sense of what's next, what you enjoy, what is at the center of what gets you up in the morning, that is at the heart of what you need to be investing in now. And I assure you, just take the tiny risk of just sketching those ideas or talking to someone about how to help you. Overnight a business can begin. So also my profile's on here. If you want to reach out and get more of a sense, even if it's just free mentorship or coaching, because that's something I love doing for people, I'm available. And that might also be why I am in this season, that I need to just find that connection with other people's dreams, because that's something that animates me. I want to see people live their best lives. I want to see people fulfill their purpose, and I want to see people appealing to their better selves. So if you really want to be on this journey with me, you want to join, subscribe, connect, message me. And the last thing I can say, which is just an encouragement, is do not doubt the fact that you have something to give, you have something of value. For many people, there is this lie, especially in the center of the we regrets, that you start thinking, maybe I was wrong, maybe I'm not able, maybe I'm not capable. And that's never, ever the question. There is no story of anyone who ever achieved anything without having to deal with lots and lots of rejection. I mean, most of the people I aspire to have all hit that rock bottom point where they were about to call their mom and dad and say, "I'm done. The dream is over. This is not for me." And it's always at that 11th hour, and sometimes it feels like 12th hour, that something is born, something beautiful, pure, and eternal. Because with all these people, they've done things of eternal value. So if you want some of that motivation and you want us to stay looking up and looking at the light and protecting the light within, then this is for you. Have a nice day.